Man, it feels good to be back. First of all, I want to shout out Jorge Martinez from The Exchange, Steve Pontecorvo for holding it down these past few weeks. You guys have been doing amazing. Everyone who's been watching the show, hey, to all the listeners out there, 50 and plus, 100 and plus on the Timo episode. We keep growing, so thank you guys for joining us every week.
Big
We have a
thank
new
you.
one. Yes, big thank you. We have a new one. But first, before we start, let me ask my guys, Steve, Jorge, how are you guys doing?
Oh man, summer's over, man. Ready for the fall. Ready for this time of the year. It gets a little cold. You got to throw on your hoodies, a light jacket, get down to the stadium. It's that time of the year. Every game counts, every minute counts. Here we are. Let's go.
Here we are into the summer, not really where we want the Red Bulls to be, but hey, we've made it here, for better or for worse. Things aren't looking too great, but what can we do?
Yes, and one of the bad things that happened to Rebel fans this weekend was the fact that we expected New England to do us a little bit of a favor, the guys up north, in beating Chicago, and that didn't happen. Chicago beat them 3-2. Now they are in the ninth spot, filling that last playoff spot that we're looking to secure. And now we have to wait and see. It's not even in our hands anymore. And Steve,
That's the
before you
worst.
record, yeah, that is the worst feeling because Steve, I've never seen you so depressed before we start a show. You're a little bit mad, but just talk to me through the feelings, man. How did you feel when you find out about the result, and where does that leave the New York Rebels?
Yeah, it's such a downer. It's a downer after, so much hype coming off of last year. I feel like I can speak for most of us saying that, you know, our expectations weren't that high, but I mean, holy shit, man, have they really have done us dirty on this one? I don't know who to blame, whether it's the players, the coaches, the management. I think there's blame to go all the way around. But yeah, to see that result, my heart just dropped, man. It was just like, great. Now we're gonna have to game watch. We're gonna have to hope for results for Chicago or New York City to lose, and now we have to win out. I feel like, and before it felt like we could maybe make an influence on the table, and now it's really disparaging. And this is the first time I could really say that it's not looking likely for the New York Red Bulls to make playoffs, and the streak can very well end this season.
Jorge, I mean, I'm gonna throw it back to you. Do you think with that result, things are starting to look a little bit more gloomy for the Red Bulls? Are we worried that that streak is coming to an end?
I think everybody's very worried. But they keep saying the same. I mean, I could say the right thing. They keep coming with the same story whenever it's asked about, and that's something that they're not worried about. The players, everybody thinks that they're still going to make the playoffs. There is something that there's a part of confidence from the coach and the team and this terrible time that they're all really convinced that they're still going to make the playoffs. But if it comes to an end the year after you make it to a final, are you calling for Sandro's head? Like the finger pointing has to be somewhere. Somebody has to take accountability for this mess. But will they? But we have to see. We have to let this all play out, and then we see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know which saint we're gonna have to send our prayers to, but the reality is that one team has two games in hand. The team that we're chasing, which is Chicago, has a game in hand, and the teams that we're playing are not really easy. And we're heading into Portland, which was a big match. Jorge, you were very excited because this could have been the match where we face our old friend Felipe Carvalho, but unfortunately, we received news that he torn his ACL, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken, right? And two games in with Portland, or just a few games in with Portland, and the season is over for him. We do wish him a speedy recovery. Always don't ever want to see anybody hurt. Um, but they're struggling a little bit. They haven't won in the last four games. Uh
This
huh.
is the perfect time for the Red Bull to get the result that they need. You got to kick a team while they're down right now. You can't go in there and be the reason they turn things around. You got to go there and you have to score early and you have to score often and then you have to just keep rocking. You can't stop playing. You got to play to win this game. You can't play the draw. If you leave there with a point, it's a fucking home run. If you leave there with three, that's even fucking better.
I
So
don't
just
even
go
think a
with
point would
points,
do it. You need to win.
right?
You need 3 points because we're at 40. Chicago's at 42. So all we need to do is win because Chicago can still win their next game and still be above us. So that's just the reality.
Who do they play?
What?
Who does Chicago play?
Chicago plays NYCFC.
Oh, NYCFC.
So points are going to be given to the teams that we're chasing this week. So I think after this week, regardless, we're still going to be 10th, and we just have to accept that. And maybe we make the jump next week. Both those teams are going to have to play midweek games coming up versus Miami. They both have to face Miami, so hopefully Inter Miami can do Red Bulls a solid and take some points off of both Chicago and New York City FC to keep us in it. But that still doesn't. Red Bulls still have to do their job. Red Bulls still have to go into Montreal and get those 3 points as well. Otherwise, we can sit and hope all we want. We're still going to be 10th.
Dude,
For
listen,
Jorge.
if
Yeah.
they go to Montreal and they don't come back with three points, they
Yeah,
don't
you
deserve
don't.
to
Yeah,
be
you don't
there.
deserve to make playoffs.
Yeah,
100% agree.
it's a
And then
wrap.
you got the biggest derby at your home stadium. You don't even need a reason to get up for that.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, Jorge, this is probably the only time we're allowed to wear Messi jerseys, right? To make sure that
No,
Miami.
never, never.
Yo, I might.
We needed to. We need
Oh, bro,
to.
fuck them, bro. I hate
Uh,
that team. I
but
hate that team.
but I mean, honestly, let's go back to one point. For Steve, you mentioned the 3 points. I agree with you. I mean, there's no margin for error anymore. And Jorge, you still think that a point is enough?
I do. I think that if you leave here with a point, with how inconsistent any of those two teams could be, because NYCFC just lost to DC United. Maybe they're on a
Yes.
down. So like, I mean, and then but again, because of the bullshit, this fucking break, like it's all fucked up. Like the timing's all fucked up. So now NYCFC plays a team where they had a little bit of time off and they could have got that bullshit out. If the game was the following week, I would say, oh shit, they could maybe drop two in a row after losing to DC United. Now you have this break, you regroup, who was feeling what. Now you're back. Now you got to make this final push, you know?
The fact is that we haven't won a game. We don't win too many away games, and with the pressure added on, my concern is that it seems like the boys, the staff, the front office is kind of just probably giving up on the season. Before we started the show, Steve, you were saying something about Sandro's demeanor that wasn't inspiring too much confidence.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that after that draw against Columbus Crew at home, that he was saying, it's a good point against a tough opponent. It's like, yeah, it is, but now like you're putting us in a tough position. Now we have to go win on the road. Now, if you just got those 3 points at home and you brought that energy from the beginning into the end and be like, yeah, you know what? Normally I would be okay with a draw, but not here. And just his whole way of being able to like, I understand, like make things look half glass full type of attitude, but not here, man. Not here when you have to make playoffs. This is a must for this club, and you don't want to be the reason why the streak ends with this team that has Chupo on it compared to last year where we had Dante and Lewis and Cam. But now, looking back, I'd rather have those three guys on the field right now. Dante, Lewis, and Cam Harper, who all three of those guys were missing right now, and we just do not look the same. And I feel like Sandro's holding in something that he can't say. Maybe that's why.
I think they've told him that they don't want to spend. I
Yeah.
think they've told him like this is what you have. You have to make sure this is what you got to do, and he can't come out and tell us that.
Well,
But I think that could be it. I don't
if
know.
if you
I
listen to
thought
the
that.
Schneider interview with Matt Harmon and Steve Jolly in that radio thing, like once he said he's like once we found out the Timo thing wasn't gonna work, I wasn't just gonna rush in and go with my second option. I don't know what that second option was. We had no idea what it was, but he said he's like I'm not gonna just fill that third DP spot just so we can say we filled it, and then him being a bust. So like it was weird. It was like, but doing nothing is your answer. So it's like, dude, like like that's not really helping us either. Like it makes no fucking sense.
Fuck it, they'll forget about 2025. Let's already start thinking about 2026, which is worrisome because they're saying, oh well, it's gonna be maybe a bigger player. Not even the guy from Columbus wanted to come here. Shout out to Mo from the exchange. He had a close encounter with him, and when he was asked about Red Bull, he mentioned that, and I think I mentioned it in previous episodes. He mentioned that yes, they reached out to him, but he saw them as the last option to come to MLS. He said practically they were shitty, and he wasn't interested in coming to New York. Sad to hear that. So if this guy is saying it, from Al Ali, which other big player wants to come here anyways? Not with this front office, don't you think?
Yeah.
But a lot of guys look at this thing like as the last money grab before they go into the sunset. Like ML and Chupo, like they're probably ending it here, right? I don't think they're gonna go so maybe like Saudi for a year. I doubt it.
Right.
Like, right? So like this is their last money grab. So to them, there might be an aspect of that too. Like winning would be a home run, but like they're there for their last bag, their last couple bags before they ride into the sunset, you know?
Or we can have a situation like Choupo-Moting, who hasn't been called up in 2 years, and he returns to the Cameroonian national team.
Yeah, shout out Chupo for that. I mean, the day that he spoke to the media, I wasn't fucking there. I was pissed. The only time we've seen him in front, I wasn't there. Shout out
But
to
but
Chupo.
that's what we're
National
saying. It's just
team.
like you can still get on the national team if you play good for your MLS club. You're seeing it from the USA. You're seeing it across all international teams too. For Paraguay, Carlos Cornell, even Forsberg earlier this season was called up for Sweden. So if Timo's like, "Oh, I wanted to stay in Europe for the chance to be on the German national team," it's like, dude, what you're gonna score 2 or 3 goals for like
Okay.
Werder Bremen?
So
Why
that's
don't you come
right.
score double digits for Red Bulls?
No, see, I disagree. I think that in certain countries that works. South American countries, MLS holds weight. Germany, MLS does not hold weight.
Mm.
Sweden, they don't have an option. MLS holds weight. Scotland, it holds weight. You go to France, MLSDs. You understand? You go to Spain, same thing. It depends where. There are certain countries that respect the MLS. Canada respects the MLS. It's theirs. USA, the same. South America, the same.
Good point.
Mexico holds weight to Liga MX over MLS every day of the week. So like it's very limited to where you are. Like if you're gonna go to like play the J League, right? Like it's MLS holds no weight. You're gonna stay there playing the J League if you're from over there. You know? So it depends where you are. It depends where you are. Where you can see if this works.
Facts. It was just
Yeah.
tough, international window coming up here. I know it's a good break, but I hate international windows regardless.
It shows that there's no respect for the MLS because FIFA does not fuck with anybody else's schedule but the MLS.
Going back to our Red Bulls, are we seeing an improvement with Sandro? Do we blame Sandro for all the changes that have happened, or for not getting the resources that he needs for this season?
And there's a lot of blame to go around, but Sandro is definitely one of them. I mean, he's benching Marcelo Morales, who is a key figure or can be a key figure in an attack. He takes free kicks. He likes to fly forward. Like I told this last episode, I understand Raheem Edwards has been playing good, and we got Omar Valencia, we got other players, but we got to use the skilled players while we have them and change it up. If we're not scoring on the road, you got to change up the formation. You got to change it up a little bit. Put in some different attacking players. I don't want to see Wiki Carmona start every game. I know he's got a high work rate. Maybe sub him in at the 65th minute. Maybe start a few different guys. I know he doesn't have much depth to move around, but you got to use some of the tools of what you have, and you can't hold grudges against players. And obviously, some of the blame goes to our front office. Our front office is easily one of the worst front offices in MLS. Whether that they hate MLS, which we know Red Bull Global deep down does not fuck with MLS for various reasons. So does that equal out for them not giving them the sources to reach out to different players? No, I think it's up to player recruitment. You see other franchises in New York recruit players here, okay? So all right, regardless if the team sucks, there's way more trashier teams than the New York Red Bulls, okay? Look at the teams in Canada. Absolute garbage, all right? We're still remain relevant with the young guys that we have. It's us to our front office to recruit the fucking players to come here. I don't understand how they've been having a hard time that their only option was Timo. I just find that hard to believe. And there's a lot of stuff that's getting left out and missing here. And especially that thing where if you mentioned in Snyder and Sandro, they don't always see eye to eye. So I can see them arguing about the same thing that we're talking about right now. that he's going to get heavily criticized after this fucking season, especially if we miss playoffs, that everyone's going to want him fired. And Sandro's going to be like, what the fuck do you want me to do?
Well, he's gonna go down in the history books. Sandro, as the guy who took us to the final and the guy who lost us the streak after 15 years.
Is he going to be the guy you think it's really? You don't think they're going to make the playoffs, or you do?
I
The
don't think
players
so.
believe it. The coaches do. I don't think the
Steve, what do you
fans
think?
do. I really, it's not. I told you guys before. I'm like, this is the first season where I'm like, it's really not even up to us. And I see the road being really difficult this time. I
Chris,
think
you?
Yeah, no, I think there was a part of me maybe before the Chicago game that maybe Rebels can pull this out of their ass, but I don't think that that's the case. There are too many things involved. Like there are many teams that have an advantage over us, and I think that on the prior seasons we kind of had this feeling that players were gonna step up, and I'm not expecting Wiki Carmona to step up. And just like you mentioned, Steve, I mean, we have a player who was supposed to be the John Talkin replacement who hasn't even made his MLS debut yet, in Marcelo Morales. We bought him for 2 million, and he hasn't played a league game this whole entire year. And our number three guy, Raheem Edwards, is the one that's starting. So I think, like you said, I think the coaching on the coaching staff, there is a lot to blame because there's some players who just don't offer what we need. Raheem is good, but Marcel, I think it's much better. I think that in our attacking players are not well prepared or well equipped to actually win games, except for Chupa and Email. But you can only ask so much from them. So yeah, I don't see that from prior years. I don't see that hunger. I don't see that. I guess just the ability to win games. I don't see it often anymore, and I think that's the problem. That's the reason why we can't or we won't make the playoffs. I
the
don't know what
only
you think.
thing they can make us believe is within their own actions. They're going on the road and they can't fucking score. We haven't scored in 2 games and we don't fucking win on the road. So boom, we can't score and we don't win on the road. Here you got 2 road games. Give us a fucking reason to believe. I don't give a shit anymore. I really don't because I'm fed up. It really is. You're not gonna just make the fucking final last year and then just try to coast it this year. And I don't even care. You're 11 and 11 pretty much. We got 7 draws in the mix there. You're very average squad. Sandro hasn't really done anything to make us take that next step. He's a decent coach, but he hasn't taken the next step. Has he developed, and this is another thing to grade him on, has he developed some young players? That
Yes.
I don't even know. The only thing he does is play favorites.
AJ was great until he got hurt.
Yeah, but
And
I
that
think
was
that's more on the goalie coach than actually Sandro, and then Sandro just playing fucking favorites again. And
that's
then
a
we
good one.
find out Carlos is back, right? And then looking back at that, I'd rather have Carlos Cornell in that Philadelphia Union US Open Cup game where all it needed was a fucking good punch out of the box, and we could have won that game. Or this season could still be decent if we were still in that fucking tournament, but we're not. We're not in that. We're not in Leagues Cup. They faked us all out this whole season with we're gonna take everything seriously. We got Chupo now. They really took us for a spin, like they always fucking do.
That is a good point. That is a good point, Jorge. And even you wanted Coronel in that game, and
So
that was
I
Sandro's
said that, yeah,
decision.
yeah. Dude, you know what's fucked up? That during the before the game, we saw him coming into the tunnel, and I'm like, I saw him like warming up, and I saw him come in with gloves, and I'm like, Vamos, Carlitos, you're about to do it. He's like, yeah. He's like, no, I'm playing. I'm not playing. AJ starting, and I'm like, fuck. And he was like, no, it's okay. And he said, no. He said, no, no, come on, man. He's like, Carlitos was like, no, no, come on, man. AJ's been good. But in a game like that, you gotta fucking start the guy. Even we were talking about Matt Turner before. I mean, Matt Freeze, dude. Even him for the Gold Cup that last game and the Gold Cup against who was it in the one after the PKs when they lost. Um, they said should he be starting or should it be Turner? Because Turner was the guy. He's been there. He's done that. Like you gotta have that guy in there. Like at least it has to be a discussion. I just don't think that they took that fucking tournament as serious as they should, man.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
look at
That was the one. If you fucking win that, that saves everything this season for everybody. Saves everybody's job, saves the fans, saves fucking everything. You win one of these other trophies, it saves fucking everything.
But they don't understand. They can't put two and two together like that, or at least our management couldn't. Like, I don't understand. I don't know. I don't get why. And then they were like, oh, and then Sanders like, oh, this is not the time to be calling out management. I'm like, because you guys keep giving us false promises, and we're
Yeah,
just gonna
because they
keep
cut the
sitting here and
check. They
believing it.
cut his check, bro. He's lying. They cut his check. That's why.
He's a puppet. He can't say anything.
The
He can't.
fucking bread.
He knows what he came here to do. He mentioned it on the first year where he's like, I'm here to develop players, not championships. And that is exactly what he's doing. I don't know much about development. I mean, you mentioned players that develop. Uh I mean, there's some players that have stood out, maybe a little bit of game time with Valencia and Mohamed Sofo, but
Julian Hall too was good, here and there.
here and there, but are there like reliable players that you can count on them week in, week out? That you're like, yeah, they're gonna deliver. I don't know, not necessarily true. I wouldn't
I
think
don't
so.
think we're getting that from a lot of guys. So,
Yes.
like, if we're gonna call out, there's a bigger list of guys that should be on that list too.
By the way,
This
before
episode, we don't have enough time to go into that.
yeah, well, for anybody that's listening, Jorge had a whole plan of giving us the review of each player, their final grade. He was ready to call the season off, but we told him, hold on, wait 4 more weeks, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But yeah, let's hope for the Red Bulls to get a positive result, just because it just helps. Like you said, Steve, give me something to believe in, and at this point, it's like, they're players who need to show why they should be here next year. And then I think there are certain players who just might not be around next year. And I'm talking about, I don't know, perhaps the Gengars. They already got rid of one of the academy kids, Davy Alexander, who has
Yeah, I
been
saw
in the
that.
roster, right, for so long. And yeah, like we also have in the roster a player who was injured a lot, which was Ronald Mitchell. We don't know what's going on. We also asked so much of Serge and Goma. How long are we going to keep waiting? He has a potential, but can he be consistent? Not really. He hasn't shown it in the past seasons. So it's unfortunate, but I think we have to strive for better. And that's going to be Jokin's job. And if there are no moves, I think the fans have all the right to protest and call for his head. You can't expect the banner to come up every single week. We don't need to do that. Complacency. What was the banner that they had, Steve?
Yeah, poor management breeds complacency, which is exactly, it's just true. It's just like, so you're not going to go with your second option, but you're going to do nothing. It's just being complacent. It's like, all right, our team isn't bad, but we're not awful, but we're not amazing. So I think this team could do something with it. It's like, yeah, we show flashes, but there's zero consistency in our play.
100%.
Zero.
Um,
But it's been like that all year. Just say.
it's been like that. It's been a rough season. We started our season, well, I guess our ratings and our rankings, and we had them in the fourth position, but we're not. We might not even make the playoffs. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let me ask you guys results for the game against Portland before we move on to the next topic.
It's got to be a 1-0 Red Bull, right?
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So who's scoring?
We're gonna go
Alexander Hack.
Sofo. Sofo, big comeback from Sofo. Big comeback game from Sofo. He scores the winner. Everybody loves him again. And Red Bull are back. Sofo, you're getting the one.
Nah, 1-0 Red Bull because we can barely score. Daniel Edelman gets the goal.
Ooh.
Okay, okay.
Chris?
I'm gonna say 2-1 New York Red Bulls, and I think our man Chupo is gonna come through and a set piece, Noah Isla, a header somewhere, 90th minute, and we come back with 3 points, and we keep believing because we got a derby this month, and we gotta keep everybody hyped. That's what we do in the show. Um, yeah, we're gonna record next episode with fucking tequila shots, thinking about how the season's
Yeah,
over.
I'm drinking my sorrows away. If we lose this game, how about the other? How about on the other side, on the flip side? If we lose this game, and then Chicago gets a result, Like it could be nail in the coffin. Like obviously we won't be mathematically eliminated probably for a little while here. But if we lose to Portland and Chicago, let's just say gets a win versus New York City FC, like, and they still got a game in hand, it could be flowers a little bit earlier than we think.
100%. I think at that point it's over. Jorge, I don't know if you had something to say.
No, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, you know what? Shout out to Seed Red Mark Fishing because he always puts up who to cheer for in the
Yeah,
rivals, and all of them were fucking losing. So I'm gonna ask him to stop posting those because it doesn't even matter. They're fucking winning. Chicago keeps winning. Well, City lost, but they still have a couple of games in hand. So we keep praying for results, but we gotta make our own. We gotta kind of just create our own destiny and start winning games, man. And it'll be a huge one if we get one, and in Portland. We got a couple of minutes left before we close the show, but I wanted to ask you what you guys think of the game that we had, yeah, here in our backyard at Sports Illustrated Stadium. Tyler Adams keeps calling it Rebel Arena, which is great. But the U.S. end up with a 2-0 loss. A massive, massive support from the Korean national team. Sorry, the Korean fans supporting the Korean national team. Just let me know your thoughts, man.
I think if they stay, this federation will always have the issue of never having a home game on American soil unless you're in like Columbus, Ohio, Idaho, very limited places where you could have a fucking game. Like with all American, like there's no fucking way. One, because there aren't that many Americans who watch soccer. Two, there aren't people that even know this is happening. After the next World Cup, things might change. But Clint Dempsey brought up a good point today. Actually, yesterday to today. If USA didn't automatically qualify, this group does not qualify to get into the World Cup.
Yeah,
And my thing that I always say, I always talk to my boy Drew, and he always says the same thing to me. He's like, you're surprised. I mean, you're not surprised if USA win the World Cup, and you're not surprised if they don't make it out of the group. That is fucking
It's
USA
the
soccer.
craziest. It's the
yeah,
craziest.
another team that kind of reminds me of the Rebels a little bit in certain ways, not in good ways. But it was funny to see the USA come back to Red Bull Arena Sports Illustrated Stadium for the first time in 7 years. I think they played Costa Rica here, and they lost 2-0 again. So I think even the players are like, I don't even want to play here either because we fucking lose every time we show up in New Jersey. But yeah, man, I was astounded. I really was shocked because I was like, all right, South Korea. There should be some USA fans here. Now, I understand there's some Koreans in North Jersey and Fort Lee, and there's a lot of Korean, heritage in this area, but not more than anything else, than Portuguese and the Spanish. But to see our stadium be like half filled with South Korean fans and everyone cheering for South Korea and Sun, man, it breaks my fucking heart, bro. Because honestly, I don't think the USA are ever gonna come back to this area, and they'll try to avoid this stadium, kind of like the plague. It's a great stadium to go to, but just for a home USA game, yeah, you got to go to Columbus, you got to go to Minnesota. I don't think they got any stadiums out there in Idaho, Jumpy.
They got to
But
do. I think the next one's going to be Philly.
Philly should be interesting. But it's just this part of New Jersey. It's we got a lot of different heritages around here. It's a big melting pot in New Jersey here. If you're not from here, you wouldn't really know. From the Bronx to Hoboken, there's tons of different countries represented, and that's what makes this area great too. Not gonna lie, I love it because you can get every different kind of culture here. But it doesn't bode well for home USA games. It just doesn't. And not to mention another team that is doing nothing to inspire the American fan to come out and watch them, especially when the tickets are $200.
Did you hear
Well,
about Pochettino? What he said?
Yeah,
Not to,
that it
not.
wasn't that bad.
You
Yeah,
think
we
he's
don't.
drinking that Sandro shit? Maybe he thinks of it. Sandro left a bottle of that drink out for Pochettino. He's like, "Yo, drink this after the game. It helps you say some shit." And it's like, "Yeah, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna make the playoffs." And like Pochettino, you're already in. You don't even make the playoffs. He got
All
the Sandro
together.
juice. He got the Sandro juice, bro.
Yo, the Sandro juice is real.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on his way there too. By the way, Pochettino, if you had to give him a rating, grade so far, what you gonna give him?
A D.
I was gonna say the same thing, a D.
I'm not
And
failing him yet. I'm giving him a D.
he's trying. I mean, at least he's trying to pick from our league, which I do. Part of me appreciates it. You know, I'm like, all right, he's valuing MLS a little bit. But at this point, I just want to see results.
I thought like McKinney should have been there. Pepe should be there.
I know,
You know,
but you had it. This was what's so disappointing is that the squad was actually
Hogan.
a decently strong squad. You had Josh Sargent starting, Tyler Adams, which I love to see him come back to New Jersey. Feel good story too. You thought there would be some magic there. Pulisic playing, Tim Ream starting, Sergio Dest is starting. I
Yeah,
mean, I
but
know Blackman
Tim
was a
Ream,
rookie.
sorry. No, but Tim Ream shouldn't have been. Anthony Robinson should be back there.
Yeah, and Chris
Tim Ream's a
Richards.
little
Chris
old.
Richards is the other one that will start. I know he subbed in, but Chris Richards is a starting
Yeah,
center back as well.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's a couple guys, but still, that was a decently strong team versus an opponent, which is somewhat at our level, right? Somewhat. And this is a team that if we somehow get out of the fucking group stage, that we're gonna have to face a Switzerland, a South Korea, a Turkey, which we all lost to.
yeah, but hold on one second, because we got a couple of minutes before the show ends. My biggest question is the fan base. You guys touched on it, and if you're Red Bull, you're like, how can I get these Koreans to show up every week to watch the Red Bulls play? And if you had to say something, what would you be? What would it be, Steve, Jorge?
They know what to do. They're not fucking like they play dumb, but they're not fucking stupid. Sign a big player. Sign one decent player that has some movement, that
No,
has
but it
some.
just can't be any fucking guy.
Well,
Son is like a fucking internet. I didn't realize how internationally big Son. Listen, I love Son. I think Son was a savage at Tottenham. Like he always seemed like a class act. From what I've seen in stories I've heard of this time so far, interacting with fans, like I hear great things about Son. Like you can't not like Son. Like I even remember seeing one time, like he was playing with like players' kids. Their kids knew him. I'm like, dude, Sonny seems like such a nice guy to be around, right? And he came here and he's on some other shit. Like you have access to him. Messi, you don't have access to him. They're rushing him in. They're hiding him in places. Like fans that go and wait, just like for them to. Dude, Sonny takes the time with his security to go to every person and do his due diligence for the league, for himself, for the game, for him. That's what you need when you come to this league. This is what the league needs, more Sonnies.
yeah,
So
that's
like if you're
one of
gonna
a
bring a
million.
guy in, it has to be a guy like that with like international weight that like, but he's also you can touch him. He's for the people, you know? Like Muhammad Ali always said, like, like if I'm the champ, I'm the people's champ. I belong to the people. That's why I gotta be with the people. People should be able to access me. I should be able to access them. It's not like that with Messi. It's like that with Sonny.
'That's a
100%.
fair
And that
point.
my only player that I mean, he's not that great with that. People being you just went off there, by the way. Good shit. But I'd say Griezmann. I think Antoine Griezmann would get people in the fucking building. And he
Yeah,
loves New
yeah,
York. So this is what
yeah.
I'm saying. Like, you got to find a player. Like, maybe that guy just doesn't like the New York. There could be a million fucking reasons. Oh, we suck, but to someone else, we're not that bad. I mean, we just went to the final. We won the Shield 3 times. So to other people, we might be decent. And Griezmann loves being in New York. He loves the New York sports. I think that could be a potential match made in heaven. Something like that. I mean, again, maybe he doesn't have the same pull. And Sonny, man, Sonny's a one in a million, dude. Son, he really is. He's just a special guy. You can just see it from the way he holds himself and maneuvers. LA's got a gem on their hands there. And I
Yeah,
just want Red Bulls to get their gem. I mean, Forsberg's nice. Forsberg ran away. Let's be honest. Forsberg kind of ran away from we all know what. And Chupo is here because he loves New York City. That's it. And he wanted a new lease on life for Chupo.
he
So
got it.
we
He's
got
better
to we got to find
internationally.
that next superstar, whatever his reason is to come here. Let's fucking get him here and let's sell some fucking tickets.
This is great. And that's it. We only have a few seconds left. Guys, this has been another great episode. We said we were going to record for 20 minutes, but we took another 40. We're going to see you guys on the next one. Let's get the 3 points in Portland. See you guys on
Good
the
luck,
next one.
boys.
Forza
Peace.
Roma.
Peace.
TSB, baby.